welcome to Healthy Living. I'm Julie Vincent. Thank you so much to Shaw Spotlight for giving me this opportunity. As a personal trainer, I love to help people reach their goals, and I'm hoping that from this show I can give you some tips and some different ways for you to live a healthier lifestyle if you're not doing it already. A little bit about me. I was initially born in Montreal. I moved a few times to Sudbury. I ended up in Thompson, Manitoba, where I worked for a huge company out there. I did really well. I bought a house. I had my daughter. And all of a sudden, I had kind of this curveball thrown at me where, in order to stay with the company, I had to either transfer, or if I stayed where I was guaranteed my wage for the first year. I would no longer be employed by the company, so I would lose my seniority. And everything else was up in the air. There was no guarantees. So I chose to take a leap of faith and sell my house and move here to Kenora with my daughter, who at the time was quite young, around 8 years old. And it kept working for that company for a good 8 to 10 years after I moved here. I was very stressed. I didn't get to do much of the things that I loved or really truly get to enjoy Kenora because I was working so much all the time. My work schedule was very unpredictable. I was on strict commission. I made really good money. I had a pension, I had benefits, but I wasn't doing what my heart wanted to do, and that was to truly help others achieve their goals. A couple years ago, my back had started to get pretty sore. I had some sciatic nerve pain. I wasn't functioning properly. I went and used up all my benefits every year, going to doctors and acupuncturist, physiotherapist. I tried pretty much everything, and a lot of them told me that if I kept up with my job, which was very repetitive movements, even though I wasn't lifting heavy objects, it was just being repetitive and a lot, that my back would never get better. So I took some time off of work. Me and my boss sat down. He gave me some different options. I probably spent a good 2 weeks crying in my now youngest daughter's bed. I now have two daughters, Shanika, who is now 17, and Destiny, who is going to be 4 in November. So I have one child going into grade 12, and I have one starting grade 1. So, or grade kindergarten, sorry. I'm ahead of myself, but she's so bright that really she should be going into probably grade 2. So I took a leap of faith. I knew I've been working out for a good 18 years. It's something that I really enjoy. I'm very passionate about it. My mom was a chef, and I learned a lot of things from her. But I also learned kind of on my own with research how to take some recipes that might not be so healthy and turn them into healthier but still very tasty recipes, and I'd love to share lots of those with you in future episodes. So this brings me to going for my personal training certification. Within, I want to say, a month of leaving this big company. Very scary move, but no regrets. It's been over 2 years now. I love what I do. I'm passionate about it. I get to help people achieve their goals. Every client that I have is completely different as to what they like, what they don't like, their limitations. and I like to set realistic goals. You know, there's a lot of diets out there that people will often tend to do for a short amount of time, but it's not really a lifestyle change. And when you're making a lifestyle change, it's something that you can stick with for a long time. It's baby steps, every step of the way to get to your goals. For those struggling with weight loss, you know, you didn't put the weight on overnight, so you're not going to lose it overnight either. But I love to work with these people and help them achieve their goals realistically. I know from past experience, even I had the mentality of, okay, it's Monday, I'm going to start eating better and exercising and everything, and by Wednesday or Thursday, I might have something that I feel I shouldn't, and then it throws off my whole week, and let's start on Monday again. Or I've had a really great week, now I step on the scale and I've only lost, we'll say, 2 to 4 pounds. And that's not good enough. Why? 2 to 4 pounds of fat is a lot. So again, setting realistic goals, right? I know there's a lot of food allergies out there now, all sorts of health conditions. I'm constantly doing research on different ways of eating when it comes to that, because like I said, I have clients that come from every walks of life as to what they can't do. Some don't like certain vegetables, some don't, and I would never make them eat those either. We work together and the changes start happening slowly, and we make adjustments where needed. For myself, I know that meal prep is huge. It sets me up for success. We tend to get pretty busy between kids, sports, doing the things that we love. Our jobs take up, and sometimes we even sleep. But sleep is also really, really important to set you up for your day. So it's like a whole bundle of things, and I'm hoping to touch on a little bit of everything, from picky eaters to, you know, people struggling with diabetes and different illnesses, to weight loss, and making things simple. Budget friendly is huge. We work hard for our money, why just give it away? And, you know, just some different ways to really help you live a healthier life. And if you're doing that already, then great. Maybe I'll teach you a new recipe that you might want to use. Really, the sky is the limit, and I'm just so grateful to be able to do this. So don't go anywhere. Coming up, I am going to go over some of my favorite tools when it comes to my meal prepping, and they make my life way easier. Welcome back to Healthy Living. If you heard the beeping earlier, it's because I was actually meal prepping while we're taping, because I knew I was a little short on protein. So we've got some chicken, which is now cooked, on one of my favorite pans. I actually really love the ceramic pans. I find that my chicken is way more juicy. Same thing with baking. It's a great pan that I use quite a bit. We're gonna let that cool. And I'm going to go over some of the small kitchen appliances that really help me to meal prep as well. Now, don't go out and buy all these things. You don't need all these things, but maybe there's some that you already have at home. Maybe some you've never seen before, or aren't sure if they'd be for you. So starting off, meal prep containers. These are wonderful. I absolutely love them. You can get them in different sizes. There's the smaller size, which is great for breakfasts. They're dishwasher safe. They stack easily in the fridge. If you're someone who has to pack a lunch for work, it's grab and go. You already have them ready. They're wonderful. So these ones only have one compartment, whereas the next size up has two compartments to separate them. And then you can even get the really big ones, which I hardly use, but if you're one of those people who doesn't like their food touching, it's perfect. So you have three compartments there. Moving forward, steamer. Wonderful piece of equipment as well. I don't like really soggy vegetables. This one has two compartments, but you can also use it with just the one. You don't need to use the two, but it's great if you want to cook two things at the same time. I think this one just came from maybe Walmart. The containers I ordered on Amazon. You can also get them at wholesale if you're here in Kenora. Ninja. I use this daily. I used to have the other one where it was just good for the big one, and then I had a separate one for the smaller ones. But they now actually sell it so that you can have it all together. I use this to make pancakes, smoothies, great for pureeing soups. If you have picky eaters at home, you can puree pretty much anything and they won't know it's in there. So think about, hiding vegetables in a homemade tomato sauce, for example. It's great. It's got the measurements right on it. It crushes even ice wonderfully. I don't know what kind of blender that you have at home, but the Ninja has been my favorite for years now. Even sticks to your counter, which is wonderful if you don't have an overhang like I do, because then you always have to pull it out and it sticks. The Instant Pot. This is kind of a newer, I think it came out in the last few years. Very, very similar to a slow cooker, but so fast and so easy. I often actually even make chicken in here as well. It takes 14 minutes and fresh or frozen chicken breast cooked, and then I usually use forks and shred it. You can make soup. You can get all sorts of attachments for it. The bottom of it comes right out. It's easy to clean. This is pretty much all you have to clean unless you're using other things. You can actually even make cakes, cheesecakes in here. I did buy this attachment, which I love. It's just a little silicone mold, and you can either bake in it, or I use it to make little egg bites. Very easy. They pop out really easily, easy to clean. Again, dishwasher safe if you're lucky and you have a dishwasher. You can also get these little egg holders. You can make a whole bunch of hard-boiled eggs in here. Great source of protein and healthy fat. It's got some different, they're all a little bit different. You can get the smaller, bigger ones. I know they come in 3 quarts, 6 quarts, 8 quarts, maybe even bigger, and a lot of them have different settings. So this one actually has the setting for, say, soup, slow cook, rice, fresh vegetables, chicken. It's wonderful. You can set timers, just like you can with most ovens, which is great if you're leaving the house and you're trying to get dinner ready for you and your family. So, beautiful, beautiful tool. KitchenAid. I think everybody needs one. You can buy so many different attachments for it. You can get it in a smaller size or a bigger size. This is, I believe, the smaller size. If you're someone who bakes a lot or tends to make bigger portions, you can get, I believe it's a 4.5 or even 5 quart. They come in different colors too to match your kitchen, which is great. You can get all sorts of attachments. Most of them come with these 3 for mixing, for dough, whipping. I bought a couple more that I really love. So this part here, which still has a cheese shredder in there, because I shred my own cheese. The difference between buying pre-shredded cheese versus buying a block of cheese and doing it yourself is that there's always added things that you might not know. So for example, cheese, block cheese versus shredded cheese. In shredded cheese you would have starch in most, whereas you wouldn't in just a block of cheese. And I mean, you can shred a whole block of cheese pretty fast with this as well. You can get meat grinder attachments, all sorts. Really a wonderful, wonderful tool, easy to use. Again, pretty easy to clean. And I bought this one, which I haven't used yet, but I'm super excited about. It can core apples. It's a spiralizer. I can make some different noodles with it, with vegetables. I can't wait to use this, maybe on an upcoming episode. And the last one I'm going to share with you guys today is popcorn makers. Because buying bags of popcorn tends to be more expensive, like shredded cheese. And a lot of the popcorn, the bags, actually have chemicals in there that can cause cancer. Yeah, not really great. And budget-wise, to buy a whole bag of kernels is pretty cheap. And you don't need much. So you can either invest in a bigger appliance like this, not so easy to clean, works great. But I came across this one. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it. First of all, it's collapsible. Great, takes up less space, because even though I have a lot of kitchen cupboard space, I use it all. So it's collapsible, again, dishwasher safe, super easy. And this little lid just goes right on there. You throw it in the microwave with a 1/4 cup of kernels, and you've got yourself some fresh homemade popcorn. Way better for you and way cheaper. So these are some of the few that I absolutely love. And maybe it's time to invest in a new small kitchen appliance to make your life a little easier, or to make your way of eating a little healthier. Don't go anywhere. Coming up, I am going to share with you how I meal prep for the week. Welcome back to Healthy Living. Talk about timing. As we're filming this episode, my daughter just got home for lunch. As I was talking about earlier, I just cooked this chicken, just came fresh out of the oven. We were just out of protein sources in the fridge, so it works out perfectly. And I can throw together a lunch for her so easily. She could do it herself, but I'll do it for her. So I always have salad or cut up veggies, always pre-made. You can choose different vegetables that are great for you. So I'm just gonna throw that, don't worry, my hands are clean. Throw some salad in there. I use a weight scale, not everybody does. I stick to 4 ounces for us when it comes to lean protein. So I can just set my scale to 0. Cut up some protein for her, throw that in there until it tells me that I'm at 4 ounces. Right now I'm at 2.5, so it's pretty much a chicken breast, but I mean, they're all different sizes, right? And until you kind of get to learn what a portion size is, a kitchen scale is a wonderful tool to use as well. There we go, we're at 4. So now she has a salad made. Some of the other things that I like to prep in advance, I mean, every week will be a little bit different, but I find by making things in bigger portions, such as this chicken breast, right? Rather than cooking, say, 2 pieces, I like to cook a whole pan full. We're gonna use it anyways. It doesn't mean that we're gonna have the same meal every single time, but it means that I don't have to cook more chicken, which takes on average of 30, 35 minutes, unless you're using the Instant Pot, which only takes 14 minutes. But still, that's more dishes, more time. And that's kind of when people tend to grab things on the go. So some of the other things that I tend to have ready are some protein pancakes. Now that's a really easy, filling breakfast. I will share the recipe with you in a future episode. I also like to have egg bake. You can make these in muffin pans, or I find those really hard to clean, so I make them in a big pan and then just cut it into squares. Really easy to make. Again, you have your pick into what vegetables you want to use. I throw a little bit of slivered almonds on top just for a little crunch, and some good fats, because I use strictly egg whites in these and not egg yolks. Whereas if I was using, say, egg yolks or cheese, I wouldn't need the healthy fat. Complex carbohydrates, lean protein, and healthy fats are the three macronutrients that our bodies need, as well as vitamins and minerals, which some our bodies make, others they don't. I always have the little containers that I talked about earlier ready to go in case I have an appointment, a client, I'm going out of town. Again, they stack really easily. In this one, for example, I have some chicken and some broccoli, and usually I'll throw in some almonds for some good healthy fats. When it comes to nuts, unsalted is always better. Always look at the ingredients. You can also buy roasted and salted, which will still have that salty taste that people love, but without the added oils, which is why you want to pick unsalted or raw rather than salted. Always make yourself a nice little shopping list. You know, fruits and vegetables, if they're cut up, is much easier. Water. Let's talk water. Super, super important. Our bodies are made of 60% water to begin with. Water helps with digestion. It helps keep you fuller. Very good for you. Helps release the toxins. And a great way to calculate what your water intake should be personally would be your body weight in pounds, and then you would divide that into kilograms, so 2.2. So your weight divided 2.2, and then times 30 will give you your minimum daily. Now, if you're working out, you're sweating more, you're working outside, then you're going to want to up that. Tea and coffee, to me, are still considered water, but it's what we add to them that might not be so good. So, you know, double, triple, those can add up quite fast. So I try to get as much in as possible first thing in the morning before I do anything else. So then it's out of the way. Always have it with you. For those of you who have a hard time tracking, a cheap way would be you could put a rubber band around your bottle, and or a couple of them, and take it off every time you finish, if it's a smaller bottle or whatever. Or there's also bottles out there, if you have, say, a Fitbit, that will actually track the amount of water that you drink in a day. So it's pretty neat, but elastic bands are a bit cheaper if we're talking budget-wise, right? With having all these things prepared, there's really no guesswork into what are we going to have for dinner in between sports, in between work, in between, you know, just our busy lives. And it gives you time to do other things. You know, even when we go out of town, I always pack a cooler full of some different snacks. In my vehicle, I always carry emergency snacks that obviously can't go bad. You know, such as raw almonds, or maybe something that I made that again isn't going to spoil. It keeps you on track, keeps you healthy, budget friendly, and gives you time to worry about other things and enjoy the other things in life. You know, even if you're out of town, I mean, stopping at a grocery store versus a restaurant, there's a lot of options, and chances are it's going to be much cheaper to say feed a family of 4, or even just yourself. Um, I know for myself, I just took a course not too long ago in Winnipeg, and I packed 15 meals in a cooler with some ice packs, put it in my hotel. I did not eat out once. I already had the cost of the course, the hotel, and the gas. So why add to that, right? Today you got to learn a little bit about me, what to expect in future episodes, as well as some of my favorite small kitchen appliances and the importance of meal prep and just how it can make your everyday life a little bit easier. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.